Let's play for David Samson the sound of longtime general manager of the Yankees, Brian Cashman. I believe he's got to be, if not the longest tenured GM. He must be, right? Because he's been in that job forever, and he didn't like some of the questions. Old New York media, you know, Joel Sherman is somewhere in this scrum asking the difficult questions. Old New York media is peppering Cashman here. Listen to this back and forth.
Which are largely out of your control. But is there anything that needs to change and will change on the process side?
Oh, we're always looking to improve on process. So last year, everybody thought that, well, first and foremost on the I want to make sure, and I think it's been put out there. So people talk about we're analytically driven, right? Do you know we're the least large? We have the smallest analytics department in the American League East. Is that a shocker to you guys? We have the largest pro scouting department in all of baseball. Is that a shocker to you, to everybody? Shouldn't be, but no one's doing their deep dives. They're just throwing ammunition and bullshit and accusing us of being run analytically. Analytics is an important spoke in our wheel, but it should be in everybody's wheel, and it really is an important spoke in every operation that's having success. There's not one team that's not using it. We're no different. But to be said we're guided by analytics as a driver, it's a lie. But that's what people want to say. I know I can't change that narrative. All I can continue to do is say bullshit, not true. But I will, guarantee it's important, and we utilize it along with our pro scouting opinions, along with our amateur scouting opinions. And yes, sometimes we do better and sometimes we do worse with some of our decisions. Sometimes they don't work out, but that's also part of the process. And we've had obviously our fair share in the more recent 2 seasons that haven't worked out. Some of it because of injuries, but.
I'm not sure that's the best sound from that back and forth with Cashman. We'll see if we can find better sound. But that as a rejection is funny because how can you not enjoy, David? How can you not enjoy the leader of the Yankees, a man actually named Cashman, for that person to say, I'm upset that you would say I'm guided by information. We are not guided by information. Data and analytics is not something that guides us. We prefer a lack of information.
My guy.
We led Nothing Personal with that just this morning. And our word of the day was describing what he sounded like. What is the word that comes to mind listening to that soundbite of Brian Cashman at the GM meetings?
Defensive to me.
Very defensive. We used the word today, indignant. There is something going on there because Hal Steinbrenner did an entire interview talking about he and Judge decided what they were doing and whether or not Aaron Boone was staying, and Nick Swisher and Andy Pettit. The Yankees are an absolute mess. Happy birthday, Giancarlo, by the way. He turns 34 today, if you can believe that. But the Yankees are a total mess.
Hold on.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's so hard to see when you're pressing those great buttons you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so the Yankees are in trouble. If you're a Yankee fan, you ought to be concerned. Cashman looks like he's done. And he is being defensive, indignant, and making excuses. And at that kind of payroll, the fact that they have not done more winning, they do have a problem. And he said something that you didn't have in your sound, which is the best part, when he was giving examples of players who didn't make it in New York, the Carl Pavanos of the world, Joey Gallo, Sonny Gray, etc. And he was pointing out how good those players were elsewhere as an example of, hey, they just couldn't play New York. And I think that is absolute horse hockey.
Let's play Brian Cashman's sound here for the audience so that we can have some good old-fashioned contention.
Maybe you're making a point on behalf of
others. Young players come up and succeed in the major leagues. Am I missing the young players who are coming up who are
the Yankees
offensively succeeding in the major leagues?
So you're saying that we can't produce major.
I'm not saying you can't. I'm asking. You described it as indisputable. I'm asking you where, ultimately.
But the example you want to say right now is Volpe, I guess, and Cabrera. Those are the two, right? Peraza.
Like if they were performing, they would have kept getting more at bats. They didn't perform, and they didn't.
But Peraza's not getting everyday reps. Right. He's got Glaber, he's got Volpe now, he's got LeMahieu. Prior to that was Donaldson. There was not a lane for him to even play. So I don't even know why you used Peraza.
Well, these are your young players.
I understand that, but he's got to have a spot to play for you to be able to use his name.
Well, if he would have hit, he would have played more. He didn't hit, so he didn't play more, right?
Well, where's he going to play?
Well, if he hit, he would have played.
Who would he, if he hit? Like, is Abbott Costello. If he hit, who's he taking out? LeBailly at third? Is he taking out Volpe at short? Is he taking out Gleyber Torres, who was one of the best second basemen in the American League last year?
If you want to win, you're going to play the guys who are hitting. If he hit, he would have played, right?
I guess if he hit better than Volpe, he would have played shortstop, and he would have won the thing out of spring training. But Volpe won it out of spring training. I think it's a stupid discussion that we're having, personally. I think our player development system, all that matters from my end to you is I think our player development system does a great job. You're questioning whether it does. That's your job to do. Proof will be in the pudding. Let's see how. So if Volpe comes up crushing it this year, are you going to be like, hey, I guess their development system does produce hitters?
I reviewed the movies in front of me. The movies this year weren't good.
Okay,
if the movies are good next year, we'll have a different discussion.
All right, and then I can hear you say, you know what? Remember last year? I look forward to that. Yep. I look forward to you telling me that when Volpe crushes it offensively this year for us, that you'll say, hey, man, I guess your development program did a good job. And it was just sea legs under him his first maiden voyage year with not much triple A under his belt.
I mean,
I feel it's pretty basic.
Mike Ryan just shouted nerds in my ear.
I don't know who he's talking about. Not a one.
But Sherman still cares. I mean, he does.
He mentioned 7 names. I'm like, who are these?
You don't know Gleyber Torres?
No.
What?
He stopped paying attention to baseball 10 years ago altogether. But I do long for the day, and I know I'm alone on an island here, for the general managers' meetings.
Why?